we have a problem. Do you remember yesterday I was sort of puzzled and I was saying something to the effect of, did I paint these wrong? And it just, somehow it didn't look right, but when I checked the manual here, yes, I was doing it right. Well, one of the viewers brought to our attention the fact that these are drawn wrong. They should be the other way around. So now what I have to do is try and figure out, first of all, which way is up. Is this up? And if this is up, that means that this one here should go right here, and the other one should go around on the other side, so that this red part is facing forward, and the light is in behind. Now, on the other hand, it could be that it's supposed to be the other way up, and this little shroud is supposed to be. Let me just turn this over here. You know what? I'm gonna have to zoom in because you can't see what I'm doing here. Okay, you should be able to see the two little positioning holes on the side of the bulkhead there, where these little pins go. Now they can go, either one of these can go either way, and but one is going to be one way is going to be correct, and the other ways are not. Let's go and check the World of Warships CGI, and also Stefan Drambinski's CGI, and see how did they draw it. You know, which way is up? By up I mean, is this side that I'm touching now up, or is the other side up? And this, if I can turn it over here, it just doesn't want to turn over. Maybe I'll grab it with the tweezers. It doesn't matter if I scratch it. I'm probably going to be repainting everything anyway. Okay, now is this up like this, or is it up when it's like this? You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's go and check the computer. First, let's check out the World of Warships drawing. Now, you gotta remember, I said a drawing. This is somebody's idea of what it was. I don't know if this was actually taken from photographs or not. That is, I mean, did they get their reference from actual photographs? I would assume they did, but you know what happens when we assume. Anyway, the World of Warships has it like this. Now, I would have a tendency to go along with Stefan Drambinski's drawing before I would go along with anybody else's. Reason being is when we were looking at his book on the Bismarck a year or so ago, I was so impressed with what appeared to be accuracy and detail of drawings and what have you. Anyway, when we get to running light in question here, before it goes out of sight, we can see that Stefan has drawn his the same orientation as World of Warships. So now we know, well, we don't know, but we can be pretty sure which way we should put it. So what are we going to be able to do here now? Well, this is what I've decided. You remember I mentioned how Windex made a wonderful paint cleaner, but I've recently found out since I first said that it only works well, at least, well, maybe I shouldn't say only, but it only, well, here I go again saying only. It works really well on the Tamiya FX paints. On the Stynylrez, it doesn't seem to work at all, or very, very little. It doesn't dissolve Stynylrez once the Stynylrez has set. Anyway, And also, I do not know how well it will work on the gloss Tamiya acrylic paint. Now, we're going to find out. I'll recompose the camera here, and we should be able to see, if I get it just right, the paint dissolving off of the side. Now I'm talking about the XF22 paint. Anyway, enough talking here. If I don't get at it, it's going to have happened and you'll have missed it. Okay, about 3 or 4 minutes has passed here, and you can see that the red has already started to dissolve here. And I'll just go in with a little brush and try and agitate slightly. Okay, so it does work on the X paints as well as the XF. Okay. I wasn't sure about that. I don't like to be giving out wrong information. Okay, probably about 5 minutes has passed here, maybe a little bit more. And when I put the lid back on this little jar, and then I started shaking it up in my hand, see if I can get this out now. I all of a sudden got the idea. I know I used the term all of a sudden, but it kind of was all of a sudden. Why not put this in the paint shaker? So I did. I put it in my paint shaker. Sorry to be getting my hands in your way here, but I've lost it. Anyway, I'm sure the other one will be the same as this. It does appear to me that the it's hard to turn around here. It wants to stick to the side of the jar here. Maybe if I get rid of the jar altogether. Anyway, yeah, it looks cleaned off. But I'm going to go one more step yet. When I was a kid, my parents were missionaries. And looking back at it now that I understand what that's all about, I'm not necessarily proud of that, because we had been involved pretty heavily with superstition. And I'm kind of ashamed of that part of it. Anyway, we lived at the mission headquarters for a while. And the mission headquarters had a print shop. In the print shop was a linotype. And it was a fascinating machine because it was sort of like a skeleton clock. If you looked at it long enough, you could see how it worked. And to a kid who was sort of mechanically inclined, it was a very fascinating machine. So what does this have to do with an ultrasonic cleaner? Well, the linotype used little parts called a matrix. Now, I think that's how you say it. And those little parts used to get dirty, and they were experimenting with an ultrasonic cleaner to see if the cleaning action of the ultrasonic cleaner could do a good job on those little matrix parts. Now, whether it actually worked or not, I don't know. All I remember is that was the first time I ever saw an ultrasonic cleaner, and it was explained to me basically how it worked. Now, I have since found out a little bit more detail. Unfortunately, this is not the sort of thing I can put under the microscope and watch happen. So it'd be really nice if you could, but I can't. Now, the idea of doing this is because there is a certain amount of residue from this Iwata airbrush cleaner, and I just want to get it off, so I'm just using the isopropyl here, and that'll dilute it down. Anyway, okay, I'm taking them out of the isopropyl. I'm going to try and put them down close to that little black dot, and be interesting to see if it also got the blue tack that was on the back here. I'm not seeing any, but of course I'm not looking at it close like you are. It does appear that it did get the blue tack. I would say that these are probably 99.99% pristine here. Okay, let's just let that isopropyl evaporate off of there. And then I'll try not to be touching it with my fingers. I wonder if I was to just sort of dab it out of the crack there, the little crevice. Oh, now it's stuck on there. There we go. Okay, enough poking here. Probably about an hour has passed here while I was editing out the last few scenes that you just saw. And what are we going to do here now? Well, I know what I'm not going to do. I've already painted this on camera. Now, let's see, now this one here, if we turn it like this, okay, turn it like that, now that will be the one that will be painted red. So this one here will be the green one, and it will go on the starboard side. Okay, the saying, I'm trying to get this right here now. I'd often heard the saying, port is red. In other words, the alcoholic beverage port is red. Now, Andy commented in the comments last night, and he said, I went to the bar and all that was left was red port. I think that's the way he said it. Anyway, it was, I really liked it because it had the word red and port and left all in the same sentence. Anyway, we've got it right here. Now let's stop with my compulsive poking disorder here. It is almost 1 o'clock here in Winnipeg, and I got these done. And once again, as before, I had to involve the 5 different colors to do these. And what I did different with the green on this one is I did 3 drops of green, 2 white, and 2 yellow. And anyway, I'll put the macro lens on here, and we'll have a nice close look here before I move on to this one right here. Okay, so I'm getting myself set up here to paint on the deck here with the 77, and I was wondering what is going to go on top of here. Like, is there going to be another machine gun or a life raft? And I'm not noticing that there's any positioning holes or anything like there usually is, so I paged ahead in the manual here. And it turns out that we have to put this piece on top here, B39. So I just want to go ahead here and just see how much is this going to cover. Now I want to nip this off very carefully so I don't accidentally damage the splinter rails that are on the outside. Okay, yeah, you can see how this is supposed to go. Now, why would that be? Notice these little marks in the center here? That's going to be completely covered up. I wonder why they did that. Did it have something to do with the molding process? I don't know. Anyway, this is going to go in here like this, I guess. Yeah, it kind of locks into place. Okay, so as you can see, most of this deck is going to be covered up. There's a piece that goes on here. It's going to cover that, so I don't need to paint this part that I'm touching. But as far as I know, this roof, or whatever you want to call it, it's not a. I don't think it's a deck. I don't think there's any railing goes around it or anything. But I wanted to paint that the 77 gray as well. Okay, so I know now that anyway that I don't have to paint these. Okay, I put this piece back on here because I just wanted to see how much of this splinter rail is going to actually be visible. This whole area, once again, as we mentioned, is going to be covered up. So if I was to accidentally touch the wall here when I'm painting the deck, it wouldn't be a huge thing. I am going to try and do a good job. But what I was talking about before is, what is this and this? I've never seen that before on a model, unless it was supposed to be something. Okay, I'm going to try not to get my head in the light here. And this 77 is basically a new jar, so it hasn't been thinned. I just want to go up as reasonably close to the edge as I can. That little corner in there could probably be, I should have maybe used a little brush for that. The first coat always looks really blotchy. Now the splinter wall has been painted the number 22. It doesn't show, but when I sprayed this part, I did get the inside of the splinter wall. Now I know you can't see what I'm doing here now. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this and get it over with, and we'll look at it afterwards. Thanks for watching, folks. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.